Welcome to a heartfelt introduction answering the question, so what do you do? Before we dive into today's workshop, I invite you to take a moment to settle in and connect with your intentions for this session. Close your eyes if you're comfortable and take a deep breath in. Now slowly exhale. Let any tension in your body melt away with each breath. Now, picture yourself standing in a room filled with people, each one curious about you and eager to connect. Imagine them leaning in, excited to hear what you have to say. Visualize yourself stepping forward, confidently, ready to share your story. With each word you speak, feel the energy in the room shift, your authenticity shining through. You are not just a title. You are a vibrant, multifaceted individual with so much to offer. Now, take another deep breath in and exhale slowly. When you're ready, open your eyes and bring that sense of confidence and clarity into today's workshop. If you haven't done so already, there is a worksheet available to download. You should see it underneath the image where you clicked play on this workshop. Download this worksheet, and it will guide you through the activities we'll be doing today. And it'll give you a space to jot down your thoughts and ideas. Okay, let's get ready to explore how to present ourselves in a way that shines. The last time someone asked you, "So what do you do?" Did you feel excited to answer, or did you feel like you were fumbling for the right words? Take a second to reflect on that. When was the last time you answered this question, and how did you feel about the answer you gave? Did it feel like it captured the real you? Or did you feel like you were leaving something important out? So, what do you do? It's just 5 words, but for so many of us, it can feel like one of the hardest questions to answer. Hi, I'm Christina Owens, and I've spent years researching, experimenting, and learning how to answer that question in a way that felt good to me. And let me tell you a little bit about myself. I work as a state education compliance monitor, a facilitator for mastermind and peer coaching groups, a real estate referral agent, and a group fitness instructor. Oh, and let's not forget that I'm also the manager of my house. Sounds like a lot, right? That's because it is. And I just gave you a classic example of how not to answer the question. I used to dread this question. As someone juggling multiple jobs and frequently changing side hustles, I struggled to discuss my work without sounding scattered. It may seem extreme, but I avoided several networking and social events because I dreaded facing this inevitable question. It kind of felt like a trap, forcing me to squeeze myself into a single, neat box. Over time, I realized it wasn't the question that was the problem. The issue was that I didn't know how to answer it in a way that felt authentic and good to me. So today, I'm sharing my story and how I crafted a compelling introduction. My goal is to prevent this question from holding you back from attending events, engaging with people, or seizing opportunities. I want you to feel confident, positive, and prepared to introduce yourself. So you might be wondering, why does any of this matter? The truth is, we live in a world of quick judgments. Whether we like it or not, people are forming impressions in seconds. And when we reduce ourselves to a list of job titles, we not only limit what others see in us, but also how we see ourselves. So imagine being able to introduce yourself in a way that sparks curiosity, highlights your unique contributions, and opens the door to meaningful conversations. That's what we're aiming for, a shift from listing roles to sharing a purposeful part of our story. Now, before we go any further, let's talk about when it may be best to stick to one role or title when introducing yourself. There are situations where it may be helpful, even necessary, to focus on a specific aspect of what you do. For example, if you're at a work event representing your company, it makes sense to introduce yourself by your job title. People need to know who you are in relation to your role at the organization. And so in those settings, clarity and relevance matters. But then there are times when you want to be more creative. Think about networking events or social gatherings where you're not just representing one thing. You want to be seen for the full spectrum of what you do and who you are. These are the moments when your introduction can expand beyond job titles to reflect your unique contributions. That's where creativity comes into play, and that's where you can share a more heartfelt, authentic introduction. Now, let's pause again and reflect for a minute. Think about a recent event you attended. Did you introduce yourself differently depending on the setting? Now, I just want you to think about the times it felt appropriate to lead with the job title and the times when you could have shared more about your unique skills and passions. So, after struggling with this question for years, I grew weary of avoiding social situations where introductions were inevitable. The issue wasn't that I was doing too much. I simply needed an introduction that captured how I wanted to present my story. I needed a way to intentionally convey who I am and what I bring to the table. So, after experimenting with various approaches, I finally crafted an introduction that feels good to me. So, let me demonstrate. Hi, I'm Christina, a hybrid professional and self titled alignment strategist. I work across multiple industries, helping individuals and organizations identify their next aligned action step, one that's going to guide them toward their desired outcome. Now, that felt so much more authentic to say, and I hope for you it was more engaging to hear. So, one concept that's been really helpful for me is the idea of being a hybrid professional. A hybrid professional is someone who blends multiple identities into one cohesive role. For someone like me, this felt like a game changing title. Instead of feeling like I have to choose which job title I want to share, I've learned how to creatively share them all. Being a hybrid professional allows me to share the full spectrum of my talents in a way that feels unified. So, how could you integrate this idea of being a hybrid into your introduction? Or maybe some other terms you might want to consider is multi-potentialite or multi-passionate. So, let's dive into how you can begin crafting your heartfelt introduction. We're going to do this by reframing, rethinking, and renaming. We're going to do those 3 steps using 5 action steps. First, you want to move away from the traditional approach of answering with a job title. So instead of saying, I'm a teacher, let's think about the impact of your work. What do you really do? What's the difference you make in the world? So right now, I want you to grab your worksheet and look at the first, I am more than a title. Make a list of the activities that energize and excite you. So instead of just thinking about the title, think about the actions, the tasks, the responsibilities connected to this title or titles that really excite and energize you. Just take a moment and just list them out. Now, think about how you're connected to your why, not what. So, what that means is, why do you do what you do? So, it's not about what you do, it's why you do it. What's the intention behind it? When you think about what you do, what energizes you, those activities connected to that title, now think about the purpose you're achieving for yourself and for others when it comes to the actions that you take that are connected to those titles. So, for example, maybe I might say, I help individuals and schools align their efforts for success by their definition. So think about what it is that you're doing and what, not just what you're doing, but what you enjoy doing, because that's connected a lot to your why, not just your what. It's your purpose statement. Go ahead and take a moment, pause the tape or pause this workshop and just think about that and write that down. Now think about the problem that you help solve. So, not just the problem that you're helping to solve, but the problem that you actually enjoy helping to solve. You're also getting some intrinsic award out of it, or reward, I should say. So, what problem or problems do you help solve? And think about it from a place of not just that that's what you do, but that's what you enjoy doing. So for me, I might say something like, I help people who feel all over the place create clear, actionable steps that lead to meaningful outcomes. So maybe they don't know all the steps. They just know that next, or they're trying to figure out that next step. And I just really enjoy helping them figure out what that next step might look like. And then the other area under reframe is your uniqueness. Describe how you fit all of this together because it's you, because of your experiences, because of your expertise, because of your talent or your gifts, just what you bring to this title, to all the things under this title, to the actions that you do and that you enjoy doing, to the problems that you're solving, to the why that's connected to what you're doing, to your purpose, all of that. But think about it in a way of, I can do this because this is kind of something that is unique to me when I'm stepping into these roles. So think about that. So for me, I may say something about I blend my expertise in the different areas that I work in, from being a coach, facilitator, educator, to being an accountability partner and a researcher. And so, with all of that, I kind of bring a lot of my experiences from each of those areas to help individuals in schools align their action steps toward the success that they're trying to achieve. So think about what's unique to you in that situation. So we just went through some activities of reframing and we incorporated some of the rethinking into that too, because as we were talking about and reframing your title, reframing your what to your why, reframing the uniqueness that you bring to do what you do, as you were doing that, part of that process was to rethink, because you had to not just think of, let me just list these things, these tasks and responsibilities, but let me actually rethink, what does energize me? What do I enjoy doing? What is that purpose? And why is it that purpose? Why does that purpose light me up so much? And what what is it about me? What is my uniqueness? What is my contribution in here that maybe not everybody can do or can bring to the table? Okay, so that's where that rethinking comes in. So if there's anything as you go, as you might want to look back on some of your responses, ask yourself, does that energize me? Do I enjoy doing this? Is there purpose behind this, and is there something unique that I bring to this? And so that's that part of the process where you are rethinking, so that can be blended into that reframing and those activities we just did, and it can be a separate activity where you go back and you really do some deep reflection and reviewing of what you wrote down. And then we get to the super fun part of renaming. So this is where you get to be creative with creating your title and your description of what you do. So think about creating a title introduction that just feels really genuine to you. Something that reflects your unique blend of skills, passions, contributions, what you bring. And maybe hybrid, multi potentialite, multi passionate. Maybe those identities are in that. Maybe not. It's okay. But come up with the title that feels entirely your own. And this is a part where using ChatGPT or another AI system could really help, where you just plug in some of this information from today's worksheets and ask it to generate 3, 5 different titles and descriptions based on what you just plugged in. And you'll be surprised at some of the creativity that comes out of that. And between you and AI working together, I'm pretty sure you'll come up with a dynamic introduction. With that said, I want to thank you for sharing space today, for taking the time to reflect on your own journey, and for being open to sharing more of your authentic self. Crafting a heartfelt introduction is not about listing job titles. It's really and truly about sharing, introducing the essence of who you are. Thank you.